Welcome to the Atlantic Bridge, podcast about politics, viewed from both sides of the pond. My name is Emmett Booth, and I'm here with my co-host, Stefan Salse. So this is the first episode of a new podcast we're doing, called The Atlantic Bridge, where we talk about politics and history and other things going on in the world from the perspective of someone who lives in the United States and the perspective of someone who lives in Germany. And Stefan, you want to take it from there?
Yeah, as you just said, this is, of course, the first episode of this new podcast, and what we want to do is to basically bring our unique perspectives together and to try and look at things from an American perspective, which is, of course, the outside perspective if we talk about European stuff, and from a German or European perspective, which is, of course, the outsider perspective if we talk of American stuff. And we are both outsiders for any other stuff. So this is the first and central thing. And because we are bringing our perspectives together on a metaphorical bridge, and there's an Atlantic between us, you get the idea, you know?
Indeed.
And we thought we could tackle quite a lot of different issues on this podcast. Right now, the most pressing one, of course, is the U.S. presidential elections, because they are a current event, and we will certainly dedicate a fair number of podcasts to this issue. But we do not plan on limiting ourselves to the 538 electoral votes and who's up and who's down and will Trump win or will Trump lose and whatever you have of that. We also have a lot of different other topics in our tube, so to speak, which we want to tackle at some point, and some of them are current events. Some of them are more procedural or institutional questions, you know, talk about things like what is actually the stuff about the US political system and how stupid does it look from a European perspective, what is the German system and how stupid does it look from an American perspective, all that kind of stuff. And I think you might be enjoying this for the different perspectives, with one caveat, of course, because we're both liberals and we are pretty much unashamed of this, and this
Indeed.
is something you have to take into account if you listen to us. You will have liberal opinions, you know? So please do not be enraged if you get what you might conceive as liberal propaganda, because this is kind of our thing. So this just is a fair warning in the beginning.
Indeed, or feel free to be enraged, but don't expect us to care. So I've been looking forward to this for a while. We're going to cover a variety of topics with a fairly freewheeling style, I think. And we've done a handful of podcasts on political subjects in the past that we're going to kind of retcon into this. And then we're going to go forward, like Stefan said, covering the election as it plays out, covering European politics, and covering issues in other parts of the world as they interest us. And covering the first 100 days of the inevitable Hillary Clinton presidency. That'll be fun.
Absolutely. And before we end episode 0, we thought you might want to have a little bit of background about us, you know, so you know who's speaking if you haven't found us in some of the more shady corners of nerddom on the internet. And so we both like to introduce us to you, our esteemed and hopefully very populous audience, and talk a little bit about ourselves. So let's start with Emmett over there.
Sure. So my name is Emmett Booth. I attended Oberlin College, the most left-wing hippie college in America, proudly so. And I studied political science there under Paul Dawson, who's a terrific center-left professor. And I cut my teeth on both Obama-Biden campaigns in 2008 and 2012. And Oberlin College is in Ohio, so that was a perfect place to do it. So I'm very much coming from the perspective of someone who likes writing and talking about politics from a center-left perspective, and someone who has some insider views on campaign and media, but for the most part, just a overly informed amateur who loves talking politics.
The same is basically true of me. I'm, as you might have heard from my horrible accent, I'm from Germany. I'm not a native speaker, so please excuse the odd, outstanding choice of vocabulary here and there. And I am, as of the recording of this podcast, I'm 32 years old, and I have no experience in politics whatsoever. From my profession, I studied German literature, history, and politics, and I'm a teacher by profession. What I teach is called in Germany the Gymnasium, which is kind of an odd mix between high school and college. You can imagine it's mostly students of the ages 16 to 19 or 20, and prepare them for university courses. So this is my daytime job. And I have a very soft spot in my heart for all things United States. When I studied history, I studied a lot of American history as well. I took courses in that. I had an exam about it, all that kind of stuff. And I'm reading up a lot about U.S. politics and, of course, the elections. And that's me, basically.
Yes, indeed. So those are the two of us. We're going to be doing this every 2 weeks. We're going to be releasing episodes every other Friday, and we look forward to it. Thanks for listening.